Everything you think you know about influence, persuasion, and success is wrong. Most people blindly follow rules that keep them average, powerless, and predictable. But you won't. Watch carefully, because in this video, you'll learn the psychological laws that makes people dangerously valuable, untouchable, influence without force, presence without noise, and power without exposure. Information like this doesn't reach the weak. It reaches the aware. If you're one of them, subscribe, like, and share before the algorithm buries the truth. Number 1, master the shadow, power and invisibility. Invisibility is not weakness. It's a tool for seeing everything others miss. The invisible advantage. The first secret of dangerous value is invisibility. Most people fight to be seen. They crave attention, recognition, admiration. But attention has a price. It makes you predictable. The more people focus on you, the easier it is for them to anticipate your moves, manipulate your decisions, and exploit your weaknesses. Machiavelli described advisors who never sought the spotlight. They spoke little, observed constantly, and allowed others to reveal their intentions. No one could anticipate their actions, yet every important decision bent subtly to their influence. They were shadows, unseen yet indispensable. Human nature craves predictability. When someone moves silently, observes, and refrains from unnecessary exposure, they become an enigma. And humans are naturally drawn to enigma, but also fearful of it. Type invisible in the comments if you're ready to start moving through the world unseen, unnoticed, and untouchable. How invisibility creates influence. Being invisible doesn't mean hiding. It means absorbing the world without reacting immediately. It means noticing the micro-expressions, the hesitations, the subtle shifts in tone and posture. While others act and overexpose themselves, you quietly collect information, creating an internal map of intentions and desires. A master negotiator entered a room where tension was high. Everyone argued and bluffed, but he simply observed. He noted who wanted control, who feared loss, and who was bluffing. By the end, he didn't need to speak a word. The outcome had already been in his favor. That is the power of invisibility. Influence without exposure. Notice how silence feels heavier in a crowded room. The unseen observer becomes the anchor, the calm point around which chaos spins. People reveal themselves naturally when someone watches without reacting. Now, whisper this to yourself. I move unseen. I am untouchable. Let it sink in. Feel it anchor your presence. Once you master invisibility, you'll begin to see how others reveal their secrets without even realizing it. Why the invisible are feared and desired. The invisible are feared because they are unpredictable. They are desired because they provoke curiosity. They move silently, yet their presence bends a room. Humans are drawn to patterns, and when someone breaks those patterns, people notice, feel tension, and become subtly compelled. In one court, a silent advisor never spoke unless necessary. Yet kings and nobles would adjust their actions, anticipating his rare words and observing his rare gestures. Power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers in spaces others don't notice. Now that you've learned the power of invisibility, the next secret will make people drawn to you without knowing why. The magnet of mystery. Number 2, the magnet of mystery. Now that you've learned the power of invisibility, it's time for the next law of dangerous value. The magnet of mystery. Mystery draws people in. It captivates their attention, makes them crave your presence, and compels them to reveal themselves willingly. Mystery is not deception. It is restraint. It is the power to reveal only what serves your influence, while leaving others to fill the gaps with their own assumptions, often to your advantage. Why mystery is magnetic? Humans are naturally curious. We are wired to fill gaps in knowledge, to seek closure. When someone refuses to reveal everything about themselves, it creates a magnetic pull. You are no longer just present. You are desired, observed, analyzed. And while others chase attention, mystery allows you to control the attention of others without effort. In 16th century courts, masked figures would walk through crowds at balls. Nobles tried to guess their identity, their intentions, their alliances. The mask created curiosity, fear, and respect all at once, and those who wore it subtly manipulated conversations and decisions simply by being unknowable. How to become mysterious. You become mysterious by saying less, acting deliberately, and refusing to overshare. Allow others to talk, to reveal, to expose their desires and weaknesses. Every question they ask, every attempt to understand you, becomes a source of power for you. A Renaissance advisor never revealed his full strategies. While the court speculated endlessly, he silently shifted alliances, controlled negotiations, and shaped outcomes. Mystery made him indispensable, feared, and untouchable. Type this in the comments. I am not easily understood. I draw attention without revealing myself. Let it anchor your presence in every room you enter. Mystery allows you to lead without force, to influence without appearing to act. But the next law will take this further. Emotional detachment, making you untouchable even when provoked. Notice how people can't resist filling the gaps you leave. Mystery creates a gravitational pull. They want to understand you, to know you, to earn your attention. And while they chase the puzzle, you gain the advantage. Mystery transforms invisibility into influence. A modern CEO never reveals his full plan in meetings. Employees and competitors alike speculate about his next move, but he quietly executes strategies while everyone else debates possibilities. The uncertainty he cultivates keeps him unchallenged. Once you master the magnet of mystery, the next secret will make your emotional armor unbreakable, untouchable in a world designed to provoke weakness. Number 3, the untouchable self, emotional armor. Invisibility and mystery are powerful, but the most dangerous people are untouchable, emotionally unshakable, unprovoked, and unreactive. Emotional armor is a final layer that makes you untouchable, even in a world designed to provoke weakness. Why emotional armor matters. Most people react instantly to insults, criticism, or provocation. Their emotions dictate their actions, making them predictable and controllable. But those with emotional armor are different. They remain calm, measured, and strategic. Their energy is untouchable, and that makes others bend without force. A famous negotiator once faced a hostile room. Shouts, accusations, and threats flew in every direction. While others engaged, he stayed silent and calm. By the end, the room followed his lead without him having to raise his voice once. Humans subconsciously synchronize to emotional dominance. Your calm becomes leverage. When you refuse to react, you control the room without saying a word. How to build emotional armor. Emotional armor isn't denial, it's mastery. Start by observing your reactions. Pause before responding. Learn to feel tension without letting it dictate your words or actions. Every pause, every calm breath strengthens your untouchability. A CEO faced a sudden scandal that could have destroyed her company. While her peers panicked, she sat silently, assessed the facts, and responded only after formulating a strategic plan. The storm passed, and she emerged stronger. Calm, not panic, became her greatest weapon. Comment this. My calm is my power. I am untouchable. Let it sink into your presence. The power of observing, not reacting. By mastering emotional detachment, you turn every provocation into opportunity. Observing without reacting allows you to anticipate moves, detect weaknesses, and influence outcomes without exposure. Others may try to manipulate you, but your untouchable self makes their efforts futile. A military strategist never lost composure during battles or political games. While chaos swirled around him, his team followed his calm lead. Emotional armor transformed unpredictability into control. Now that your emotional armor is forged, the next secret will teach you how to control influence with silence and subtle energy. The art of speaking without words. Number 4, influence without words, the silent force. You've mastered invisibility, mystery, and emotional armor. Now it's time for a force more powerful than words. Silent influence. The most dangerous people don't always speak. They project energy, presence, and authority that bend others' behavior without a single command. Why silence is a weapon. Words are often overrated. They can betray intentions, reveal weaknesses, and create resistance. Silence, however, communicates power, confidence, and unpredictability. It forces others to project meaning onto you, and often they will act according to your subtle cues without even realizing it. A top negotiator in a tense international deal barely spoke for the first hour. Every time the other side made a move, he simply nodded, maintained calm, and observed. By the end, the opposing team had agreed to terms more favorable than they expected, without him ever raising his voice. Humans unconsciously mirror dominant energy. When you remain calm, composed, and silent at key moments, others adapt their behavior to your rhythm. Projecting energy without words. Influence without words is about posture, gaze, and timing. A steady gaze commands respect. Controlled breathing signals calm. Deliberate pauses create tension. The combination of these subtle signals allows you to lead the room, guide decisions, and shape perceptions, all without saying a word. A CEO once walked into a heated boardroom without speaking. Everyone in the room instinctively lowered their voices, mirrored her calm, and followed her unspoken guidance. By the end, her team had made key strategic decisions she hadn't verbally instructed, but she had subtly led them all along. Whisper this. My presence commands without words. I influence effortlessly. Feel it anchor your authority. Combining silence with observation. Silent influence is not passive. It requires active observation. Every hesitation, every micro-expression, every subtle gesture is data. By combining silence with observation, you anticipate needs, desires, and weaknesses. People reveal their intentions without realizing it, and you gain the upper hand. During a critical negotiation, a diplomat remained silent while the other party argued. Observing carefully, she noticed subtle signs of hesitation and anxiety. Using only her calm presence and strategic eye contact, she guided the discussion to a favorable outcome, without uttering more than a few words. Once you can influence silently, the next law will show you the art of disappearance. How to vanish from any situation while retaining total control and respect. Number 5, the art of disappearance. Control without presence. You've learned invisibility, mystery, emotional armor, and silent influence, but the most dangerous skill of all is the art of disappearance. True power lies not in dominating attention, but in knowing when to vanish. Disappearance creates leverage, respect, and control, even without your presence. Why disappearance is powerful. Humans fear the unknown. When someone disappears, it triggers attention, speculation, and sometimes even compliance. People unconsciously adjust their behavior in your absence. Disappearance creates a vacuum, and in that vacuum, you control the narrative. A Renaissance advisor would often leave the court without explanation. The king and nobles speculated endlessly, yet in their attempts to regain his presence, they revealed alliances, secrets, and intentions. By leaving, he gained more influence than by staying. Absence makes the mind focus. When you strategically withdraw, people begin to reveal what they wouldn't otherwise. You gain leverage without confrontation, persuasion, or force. How to disappear strategically. Disappearance is deliberate. It's not avoidance, it's timing. Know when your presence is unnecessary or counterproductive. Step back silently, let others fill the space, and watch the outcomes bend in your favor. Your influence is magnified because people act in anticipation of your next move. A modern CEO facing a heated boardroom conflict simply excused herself and left the room. The executives, uncertain and anxious, recalibrated their strategies. Decisions were made in her absence that aligned perfectly with her vision, without a word from her. Say this loud. My absence commands respect. I influence without being seen. Let it reinforce your control. Mastering disappearance allows you to reset dynamics. You become unpredictable, respected, and unchallenged. Others unconsciously align to your presence and absence alike. It's the ultimate control, invisible, yet felt everywhere. During a critical negotiation, a diplomat left a tense meeting early. The other party, unsure of his intentions and noticing his absence, overcompensated to appease him. By leaving, he controlled the outcome more effectively than by staying. Now that you know how to vanish while retaining control, the next secret will reveal the dark art of emotional manipulation, shaping thoughts and actions without overt force. Number 6, the dark art of emotional manipulation. You've mastered invisibility, mystery, emotional armor, silent influence, and strategic disappearance. Now comes the most feared skill of all, the dark art of emotional manipulation. This isn't about lies or force. It's about shaping thoughts, feelings, and actions by understanding the hidden currents of human emotion. Why emotional manipulation is powerful. Humans are driven by emotion, often more than logic. Those who understand emotional triggers can guide behavior without confrontation. By subtly influencing feelings, fear, desire, anticipation, admiration, you can control outcomes before words are even spoken. A negotiator once faced a hostile counterpart. Instead of arguing, he mirrored the other's tone subtly, injected pauses at key moments, and allowed frustration to rise naturally. By the end, the counterpart made concessions voluntarily, manipulated not by coercion, but by skillful emotional calibration. Emotional manipulation works best when invisible. People must feel the change is their own idea. You are a hidden architect of perception, shaping decisions through the subtle currents of emotion. How to manipulate emotions strategically. Start by observing emotions deeply. Mirror subtly to create trust. Use tension and release, small moments of discomfort followed by calm. To guide reactions. Timing is critical, too obvious, and you are exposed, too subtle and it fails. A CEO skillfully led a team through a crisis. She amplified urgency without panic, subtly rewarded compliance with acknowledgement, and mirrored concerns to build trust. Her team acted exactly as she intended, feeling entirely autonomous in their decisions. Type this in the comments. I feel the currents. I guide without force. My influence is invisible but undeniable. Let it reinforce your mastery. The true power of emotional manipulation lies in subtlety. Influence is not shouted. It's breathed into a situation, gently nudging decisions, reactions, and alliances. Those who can master this art bend outcomes effortlessly, all while appearing passive. A diplomat used subtle emotional cues to de-escalate a tense negotiation. By adjusting posture, tone, and eye contact, he created compliance and agreement without speaking a single persuasive sentence. Once you can shape emotions invisibly, the next secret will teach you the art of strategic alliances. How to surround yourself with power while remaining untouchable. Number 7. Strategic alliances. The network of power. All the mastery you've gained so far. Invisibility, mystery, emotional armor, silent influence, disappearance, and emotional manipulation reaches its full potential when combined with strategic alliances. Power is not only in what you can do alone, but who surrounds you and how you position yourself within networks. Why alliances amplify power. No one succeeds entirely alone. Strategic alliances allow you to magnify your influence, gain access to hidden opportunities, and shield yourself from threats. But alliances must be carefully chosen. Your network should amplify your power, not dilute it. In Renaissance Florence, a court advisor cultivated relationships with merchants, nobles, and foreign envoys. Each alliance was deliberate. When conflict arose, he called on the right connection at the right moment, maintaining influence far beyond his personal reach. Humans naturally gravitate toward those who are well-connected. By surrounding yourself with valuable allies, you project power, credibility, and indispensability. Even when you act subtly. How to build and maintain strategic alliances. Start by identifying who holds influence in the areas you want to dominate. Observe their needs, motivations, and weaknesses. Offer value before asking for anything. Cultivate loyalty quietly. Avoid drama and maintain discretion. Your presence should be desired. Your support indispensable. But your true power never fully revealed. A CEO expanded her influence by helping emerging leaders achieve their goals, subtly positioning herself as the unseen anchor. Her allies carried her agenda forward, unaware they were amplifying her influence, making her untouchable in her industry. Whisper this: I am the center of value. My network amplifies my power. Let it reinforce your strategic positioning. When alliances are built carefully, you no longer need to act alone. Opportunities arise naturally. Threats are mitigated before they reach you, and your influence spreads silently. The most dangerous people understand the unseen architecture of relationships, and they exploit it masterfully. A Renaissance merchant consolidated power not by force, but through connections. By aligning with key families and leveraging shared interests, He controlled markets and political outcomes without ever appearing domineering. Once your network of power is established, the next secret will reveal the ruthless art of timing, how to strike, retreat, and manipulate circumstances with precision. Number 8. The ruthless art of timing. Strike and retreat. Power without timing is wasted. Even the most skilled, mysterious, and influential people can falter if they act too soon or too late. The ruthless art of timing teaches you when to strike, when to retreat, and how to manipulate circumstances with precision, ensuring every move maximizes impact. Why timing is everything. Humans are predictable, but only if you know when to act. Strike too early, and your efforts are wasted. Wait too long, and opportunities vanish. The powerful exploit timing, letting events unfold until the moment is ripe. Then, with precision, they act, and outcomes bend in their favor. In Renaissance Italy, a strategist waited years for the right moment to negotiate a political marriage. When he finally acted, the entire city-state shifted alliances with minimal effort on his part. Timing turned patience into power. Strategic timing amplifies influence because it leverages human anticipation, emotion, and readiness. You become untouchable not through force, but by acting at the precise moment when others are unprepared. How to master timing. Mastering timing requires observation and patience. Track patterns, detect shifts in mood, and anticipate responses. Align your actions with moments when your influence will be strongest, when others' defenses are down, or when opportunities are unnoticed. A CEO waited until competitors were distracted before launching a product. The market had no resistance, adoption was rapid, and she dominated her niche. The strike wasn't violent or loud, it was perfectly timed. Comment this: I act with precision. My timing is unstoppable. Let it anchor your mastery of opportunity. Perfect timing is invisible but undeniable. It creates results without confrontation, forces alignment without pressure, and ensures you remain in control. Every action, every retreat, every calculated move adds to your untouchable influence. A diplomat subtly delayed responses during critical talks, letting the opposing party reveal their weaknesses. When the moment arrived, his carefully timed intervention secured the agreement without ever forcing it. Now that you've learned the art of precise timing, the next secret will reveal how to harness fear and respect, making others follow your lead even before you act. Number 9. Fear and respect, commanding influence instantly. Invisibility, mystery, emotional armor, silent influence, strategic disappearance, emotional manipulation, alliances, and timing all lead to one final skill: commanding influence through fear and respect. Those who master this do not demand obedience. It is granted automatically, simply because of their presence and reputation. The power of fear and respect. Fear is respect amplified. It is not terror. It is a recognition of power and unpredictability. Respect is a foundation. Fear is a reinforcement. Together, they ensure that people follow your guidance instinctively, even before you ask. A Renaissance general never raised his voice, yet soldiers obeyed instantly. His reputation for calm decisiveness and tactical brilliance created both respect and subtle fear. Orders were carried out not out of compulsion, but out of recognition of his unmatched capability. Humans instinctively follow those who appear competent, unshakable, and unpredictable. Fear without respect creates resentment. Respect without fear invites disregard. Together, they cement influence. How to cultivate both. Cultivate respect through mastery, integrity, and visible competence. Cultivate fear by remaining unpredictable, unattached, and emotionally untouchable. The balance is subtle. Your presence must always carry weight, yet you never force compliance. A modern CEO projected calm authority. By combining strategic silence, precise timing, and an untouchable demeanor, she earned both deep respect and subtle fear. Employees anticipated her decisions, competitors hesitated, and allies aligned effortlessly. Whisper this: I command respect and fear. My presence is undeniable. Let it reinforce your authority. The combination of fear and respect allows you to lead without overexertion. Influence becomes automatic. People align without conscious effort, and your authority becomes virtually untouchable. This is the culmination of all the skills you've mastered so far. A Renaissance advisor's counsel was never questioned, not because of overt intimidation, but because of the subtle mix of reputation, mastery, and the unpredictable energy he carried. His words carried weight, even when he said very little. Once you can command influence through fear and respect, the final secret will reveal the ultimate principle: becoming dangerously valuable, untouchable, and indispensable in any situation. Number 10. Becoming dangerously valuable. The final mastery. You've mastered invisibility, mystery, emotional armor, silent influence, strategic disappearance, emotional manipulation, alliances, timing, and the balance of fear and respect. Now comes the final principle: becoming dangerously valuable. This is the art of making yourself indispensable, untouchable, and respected in every room, every situation, every world you enter. Dangerous value comes from a combination of mastery, strategic positioning, unpredictability, and influence. You're no longer just another participant in life. You are a force. People seek your input, rely on your presence, and fear losing access to your insight. You are irreplaceable not by authority alone, but by skill, presence, and mastery. A Renaissance advisor was sought by kings, envoys, and merchants alike. Even in absence, his counsel shaped outcomes. His value was not measured by wealth or title, but by the untouchable influence he wielded across alliances, timing, and perception. How to become dangerously valuable. Combine all the skills you've learned. Invisibility. Know when to blend in. Mystery. Let curiosity follow you. Emotional armor. Remain untouchable. Silent influence. Lead without speaking. Disappearance. Let absence magnify your presence. Emotional manipulation. Shape outcomes subtly. Strategic alliances. Build networks that amplify your power. Timing. Act with unstoppable precision. Fear and respect. Command naturally. Asterisk. When these are aligned, you become a singular force. Someone whose presence is coveted, whose absence is feared, and whose decisions shape reality. If you made it this far, comment this: I am dangerously valuable. I am untouchable. I am indispensable. Let it cement your mastery. The emotional payoff. This is more than power. It is freedom. You no longer chase attention, influence, or control. They come to you. You move through life untouchable, respected, and mysteriously essential. Every room you enter bends subtly to your mastery, and every challenge becomes an opportunity to assert influence without resistance. A modern CEO, fully mastering these principles, became a sought-after advisor, a feared competitor, and a revered leader. Not because she demanded it, but because her value was undeniable, her presence magnetic, and her mastery invisible yet complete. You've completed the journey from being ordinary to dangerously valuable. Now it's your turn. Comment below "Awakened" if you're ready to step into this power. And don't forget to subscribe, because mastery like this is only for those who finish the journey.